The Zephyrian interrogation chamber hummed with alien technology, its crystalline walls pulsing with an eerie blue light. Commander Vexthul studied the two human prisoners through multifaceted eyes, his mandibles clicking with anticipation. After 3 standard cycles of galactic warfare, they had finally captured specimens from the species that had somehow held back the mighty Zephyrian Empire. Alexander sat bound to one chair, his dark hair matted with sweat, while Nora occupied the other, her green eyes defiant despite their circumstances. Between them, in a specially constructed containment field, were their companions, a small orange tabby cat, and what the humans called a honey badger. "Explain," Vexthul commanded, his translator rendering the words in harsh mechanical tones. "How your pathetic species has resisted our advance for so long. Your technology is primitive. Your worlds are few, yet somehow you continue to survive." Alexander exchanged a glance with Nora. They both knew this moment would come eventually. The secret that humanity had carefully guarded throughout the war was about to be revealed. "You really want to know?" Nora asked, a slight smile playing at her lips. "It's not what you think." The Zephyrian leaned forward, his exoskeleton creaking. "Enlighten me, human." Alexander cleared his throat. "The thing is, Commander, we were never fighting you alone. We've had allies from the very beginning. Allies you never bothered to notice because you dismissed them as lesser creatures." Vexthul's compound eyes glittered with confusion. "The other galactic species have remained neutral. We have confirmed this through our intelligence networks." "Not other galactic species," Nora said softly. "Earth species." The cat, which had been sitting quietly in its containment field, suddenly stood and stretched. Its amber eyes fixed on the Zephyrian commander, and it began to purr, a sound that seemed to resonate strangely within the chamber's acoustic dampeners. "Your translators," Alexander continued. "They're designed to decode languages, to break down communication patterns of sentient species. But they were never programmed to recognize the communications of Earth's animals as anything more than instinctual noise." Vexthul stepped closer to the containment field. "You expect me to believe that these pets are your allies in war?" The honey badger, which had been lying on its side appearing docile, suddenly rolled to its feet and released a low, rumbling growl. The sound sent an unexpected chill through the commander's carapace. "Mittens here," Nora nodded toward the cat, "has been coordinating our deep space reconnaissance missions. Cats, you see, have a natural ability to navigate in zero gravity that puts our best pilots to shame. They can also detect electromagnetic anomalies that our sensors miss entirely." As if on cue, the cat's purring shifted to a different frequency, and several of the chamber's monitoring devices began to flicker and malfunction. "And Sergeant Claus," Alexander indicated the honey badger. "Well, he's been handling our most dangerous infiltration missions. Honey badgers are fearless, incredibly intelligent, and virtually indestructible. They've been sabotaging your supply lines for months." The badger's growl intensified, and Vexthul took an involuntary step backward. Something primal in the sound triggered ancient warnings embedded deep in his evolutionary memory. "Impossible," the commander hissed. "These creatures show no signs of higher intelligence. They cannot operate advanced technology." "Can't they?" Nora asked. "Mittens, would you mind demonstrating?" The cat's purr changed pitch again, and suddenly every restraint in the chamber clicked open simultaneously. Alexander and Nora stood up, rubbing their wrists where the energy shackles had been. "You see?" Alexander explained as Vexthul backed toward the chamber door. "Humans learned long ago that intelligence comes in many forms. While you were looking for technology and mathematics, we were forming partnerships with species that understood survival in ways we never could." The containment field around the animals dissipated, and both creatures padded forward to stand beside their human companions. The cat continued its strange electronic purring while the badger's growl became a symphony of intimidation. "Every animal on Earth has been part of our war effort," Nora continued. "The dolphins have been running our naval operations, using echolocation to detect your submerged forces. The ravens coordinate our communications networks across continents. Even the earthworms have been helping by making your ground troops sink into unexpectedly soft terrain." Vexthul's mandibles clacked in distress. "The Galactic Council will never believe this. A species that wages war with pets and pests." "Not pets," Alexander corrected firmly. "Partners, equals, family." The honey badger stepped forward, its small but powerful frame radiating an aura of pure, concentrated menace. Its growl had evolved into something that seemed to vibrate through dimensions, speaking to every predator-prey relationship that had ever existed. "The thing about humans," Nora said as she knelt to scratch behind the cat's ears, "is that we never saw ourselves as the dominant species on our planet. We saw ourselves as part of an ecosystem. When you threatened our world, you threatened all of us." The cat's purring reached a crescendo, and every piece of electronic equipment in the chamber began to smoke and spark. Through the chaos of failing systems, Vexthul could hear something that chilled him to his core, the sound of thousands of different animal calls echoing through the ship's corridors. "Your forces captured us from a transport vessel," Alexander said calmly as emergency lights began flashing. "What you didn't realize is that transport was carrying diplomatic envoys returning from successful negotiations with the Galactic Council." "Negotiations for what?" Vexthul demanded, his voice rising in panic. "Species recognition," Nora smiled. "You see, Commander, Earth's animals aren't just helping us fight this war. They're about to become the newest members of the galactic community, and they've all voted to support humanity's bid for your unconditional surrender." As the ship's systems failed around them, and the sounds of Earth's creatures filled the air, Vexthul finally understood the terrible truth. Humanity had never been alone, and they never would be. The cat purred, the badger growled, and somewhere in the distance the Zephyrian Empire began to fall.